Arkansas just passed a law that effectively bans marijuana petitions from ever reaching voters again. Here's how. Arkansans have the ability to change state law or the state constitution through initiatives by writing a petition, gathering enough signatures, and getting the whole state to vote on it. But before you can start getting signatures, your petition has to be reviewed by the Office of the Attorney General, who can either approve it or send it back for rewrites with notes on what you need to fix. A petition has to include both the words it would change in the law and a summary of what those changes would do, called the ballot title. On election day, voters will only see the ballot title, so the Attorney General's review is supposed to make sure the ballot title is truthful and not trying to mislead voters. But the laws governing that review leave a lot of subjective interpretation up to the Attorney General, and in the past, the AG's office has been accused of trying to find any reason they can to throw out petitions they politically disagree with, and that's where marijuana comes in. In 2016, Arkansans successfully used a petition to create the state's medical marijuana program. And in the years since then, there have been more petitions to either expand that program or allow for recreational use. Some were rejected by voters, but many more were stopped by legal hurdles, including attorneys general who refused to certify them, even after multiple rewrites. Meanwhile, the folks who control the Arkansas legislature have made it clear that they hate that 2016 marijuana amendment. They've used it to justify passing other laws that make all petitions harder, including increasing the number of required signatures and adding more reasons that signatures can just be thrown out. And 2025 is no different. This year, they've passed more restrictions on petitions, including Act 154, which passed at the end of February. It includes a small change in wording that's going to make a big difference. Act 154 allows the Attorney General to immediately reject any petition if the text of the proposal conflicts with the United States Constitution or a federal statute. Even though more than half of US states have recreational or medical marijuana, they are all technically in violation of federal statutes. Those statutes are just not being enforced. Mass production and sale of marijuana is explicitly outlawed, and so is possession of any Schedule I controlled substance. And as of February 2025, that still includes marijuana. So, because of Act 154, any petition trying to increase the availability of recreational or medical marijuana in Arkansas could be rejected immediately. And that's not just a guess. Here's the sponsor of the bill when he was asked about it.
Someone sent me a question about how this might affect marijuana and initiatives related to that subject.
I think like everything else, if there's a federal statute that conflicts with what's being proposed, then the Attorney General would have the ability to reject that ballot title.
With Act 154 in place, Arkansas marijuana laws are kind of stuck. They can't expand unless federal laws change. But the existing medical marijuana program is written into our state constitution, so any attempt to change or eliminate it would require a constitutional amendment. That would require voters' approval, and the program is widely popular, so that's not likely. And this has bigger ramifications than just marijuana. In the past, Arkansans have used petitions to pass laws in conflict with federal statutes as a way to send a message about what's important to them. What's more, the legislature is happy to pass laws that conflict with federal statutes. For instance, in 2021, they passed the Arkansas Sovereignty Act, which claimed that certain federal gun restrictions could not be enforced in Arkansas. Our legislature regularly passes laws like this as a way to send a message, or to rile up partisan voters, or to create a lawsuit so they can challenge that federal statute in court. But if the legislature can do it, it's hard to argue the people shouldn't be allowed to, especially when our state constitution gives Arkansans the right to propose any law through initiative petitions. And it says that no legislation shall be enacted to restrict, hamper, or impair that right. So Act 154 will likely end up in court, but even if it's overturned, that could take a while. And in the meantime, no new marijuana petitions will be certified to gather signatures. And this is just one of multiple new laws intended to continue making it harder to exercise our right to initiative petitions here in Arkansas.